When I was growing up, I didn't have a choice also. That's our generation,
Really?
diba? One time was when I was doing my clerkship in the US, fourth year med school. I talked to him. I said, "Dad, can I just take masterals and I'll just be an architect?" He didn't talk to me for 6 months. So until I finally relented, then I became doctor again. My allowance, one of the smallest sa batch namin. I would actually return the bottles of my classmates to the canteen and get the deposit. And they keep it to myself kasi my rich classmates, you return the bottle, you keep the deposit.
I would Sino ba yung mga mayayamang classmates na yan?
Secret.
But you were also mayaman.
I just didn't know it. Yeah.
That was the perception that, wow, you swept Donna off her feet. Yeah. You're from this wealthy family. Yung pala, mas malaki pang kita sa'yo noon.
Yes, yeah. The first 5 years. Yeah. So good thing naman about her, she will never make you feel insecure. Yeah, that's a good trait.
Did you though? Did you?
Yeah, of course, to start.
Si Potenciano Yong Larrazabal III, bukod sa pagiging eye surgeon, ang namamahala sa Cebu Doctors Group of Hospitals. Siya din ang kauna-unahang Pilipino na nakatapos sa World Marathon Challenge, kung saan tinakbo niya ang 7 marathon in 7 continents in 7 days. Pero ang pinakamatindi niyang marathon ay ang pagpapatakbo sa 7 ospital. Dr. Yong dreams of building 3 more, the last of which will be a full charity hospital. Truly, a man with a vision. Kilalanin natin si Dr. Potenciano Yong Larrazabal III dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Why run? What is it that fascinates you?
First of all, I'm a surgeon, so my hands are very important. My first love was actually basketball. So 5 years into my practice, when I started to get busy, I needed something to de-stress. So I started playing basketball again, and then I accidentally injured my my small finger. Yeah, so I realized if I injured more critical fingers like the thumb or the middle finger, then it would be very difficult to operate. So I had to look for a sport that didn't use much of my arms, elbows. So running, I found running, and at that time, running was starting, to get popular here in Cebu.
Oh, so it's still connected to the profession in a way.
Yes, it is. And then I realized that while running, now I can run the treadmill, my mind wanders off. I get all my ideas from running. I can sleep better at night. I run 10 kilometers a day, every day.
Every day?
Every day, yeah.
Also, aside from that, it keeps you healthy.
Yes, it keeps me healthy, fit, and I can eat whatever I want, more or less. When I get home, I have dinner with the kids, my wife, and after I exercise, then I go to bed after.
Oh, so very regimented rin,
Yes, my life is very regimented, very structured.
Why?
That's how I was raised, and I have, my dad was like that. We're both workaholics. I do surgeries every day, eye surgeries like cataract surgeries, and I do several refractive surgeries, LASIK and smile surgeries once a week. I see patients every day, then I allot 2 hours for running the hospitals that I manage now, since my dad passed away.
The regimentation comes from the many things you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all started when, in high school that, my parents always told us and stressed the importance of good grades. So I always make the point to study hard, and I got into med school, and I studied even harder. So for me, I place it in my mind that there's always a time for everything. There's a time to enjoy, there's a time to study, which you will need later in the future, which actually made a lot of sense because to get into ophthalmology, you have to get good grades in med school. To get high scores in the board exams, which I did, and fortunately I got accepted to UPPGH for my ophtha training, which is the best training institution in the country right now for eyes.
From the very start, you were disciplined. I
Yes.
mean, growing up, you
Yes.
saw that from your father.
My father's a workaholic. He's in here 7:30, goes home just before dinner every day. He started with one hospital, he ended up with 6, and then he made a university as well, then expanded with so many colleges.
You're third generation.
Second.
Second pala. But
I'm
you're Potenciano the
The
third.
third. Second generation doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah, but third generation Potenciano.
So, is the burden heavy to be able, I mean, your dad was so accomplished, achieved so much in his lifetime.
As soon as I started practicing ophthalmology, he made sure that I'd be a board member in all our hospitals. No? So I attend the monthly board meetings. No? And there I saw him at work, his ideas, and then how he talks to people, how he adjusts the rates, how he gets new equipments, how he negotiates. So that I was learning silently on the side while I was practicing. He passed away suddenly, 2017. Yeah. After the second year, now it's 5 years already, everything's smooth already. No? I managed to put everything in place, hire the right people, talk to the right people. So now we have a corporate team already. Now we just opened a hospital last year in Bohol, and we plan to open another hospital soon, which the corporate team handles that. I like to micromanage, but it's impossible. You can't do that. You won't have a life anymore.
Yeah.
So
So you've learned to let go or to trust.
Trust, yeah. Not let go, because it's part of me.
Where do you draw the
details.
line?
I draw the line when, example, like I used to visit the hospitals almost every week, in different hospitals every week. No? And I noticed that I don't have time anymore for my family. No? So no time for running was less, which I realized is not good for my health. If I want to stay longer in this business, I have to allot time and if I want my kids to know me and respect me, I have to spend time with them as well.
Are you giving them the freedom to choose what profession they want?
When I was growing up, I didn't have a choice also. That's our generation, diba? We follow what our parents want, and he showed us this. He brings us here every day. When we were kids, after school, we wait for him here. So we're exposed.
Okay.
And then,
You learned to love it.
yes, I learned to love
You didn't
it.
feel that it was imposed on you.
Well, at one point, because my first love is drawing. I wanted to be an architect.
Really?
Yeah, so one time was when I was doing my clerkship in the US, fourth year med school. I talked to him. I said, "Dad, can I just take masterals and then I'll just be an architect?" He didn't talk to me for 6 months. So until I finally relented. So when I rotated in PGH and I rotated in ophthalmology, I saw the surgeons, how they operate. So ophtha was like my art to me. The daily surgeries became my art of passion, doing that surgery every day. It's like drawing, diba?
How?
It's microsurgery through a microscope. So when you're doing the incisions, you're removing the cataract, putting the lens, that's a form of art already.
Did that answer my question? So that means you're gonna require one of your kids
Yeah.
to follow in your footsteps.
My dad has 11 grandkids. Okay, we're 4 siblings. 10 of the 11 are going into medicine. Yeah, so that's a pretty big influence. No? I think 2 have already passed the board exams. And then there are 4 now in medical school, and the others are in pre-med. So my daughter now is second year med school, the eldest. The second
Already?
Yeah, the second.
Wow, you don't look it, ah.
Yeah. The second is pre-med, BS Bio, and the youngest is high school. So the 3 are going into med school. Hopefully they will follow me, ophthalmology, but I'll let them decide.
So part of your practice, is it charity?
One of the important things that my dad relayed to us is always do your part, no, as far as charity is concerned. So all our hospitals have charity services. And in our main hospital, I'm the chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology, which we have a very good charity foundation. So we have residents training here as well. So we make sure that all the consultants rotate, operating pro bono cases, and then supervised well, and then assisted by residents who are in training. So we have charity programs here.
Do you still do pro bono operations, or you train your residents who will eventually be doing?
No, we rotate.
You rotate, even you are part
Even
of the
consultants,
rotation?
yes. And then once in a while, we join missions. Like we have a mission in Bantayan next year, so I'm going to do charity work there as well. And automatic also, all charity patients in our hospital gets 35% discount on all services.
So this has been handed down to you by your
Yes.
father. It's really one of the principles
Yes.
of all your hospitals.
Yes. I believe kasi, if you really love your work, it will show how you talk to the patient. You'll say, oh, this doctor really cares of my well-being. And money will follow. Money will just follow.
I believe the same thing.
But if your goal is money, and then you convince the patient, oh, you have surgery na, it shows that you're pushing. Diba? But if the well-being of the patient is...
It's primordial.
Yes.
Yeah.
And money will follow. You don't have to worry about it. That's what I always tell our students in med school. Sometimes I give lectures also. Just love your work. Choose a specialty that you wake up, you're excited to work, rather than you have to pull yourself out of bed, and then it shows that you're grumpy. You get mad at patients. You scream at them.
So how did you get your children interested?
The same thing that my dad did. Exposure. Exposure.
From school, they also hang out here?
They hang out here, but not, of course, every day. But I always talk about what I do. I show them. The three of them have been to my surgeries. I've operated already my eldest daughter for surgery for the eyes. She used to wear very thick glasses. My wife, I did surgery on already. And both my parents.
All the fans of Don are were crestfallen when you
sure.
took her away
I'm
from
sure.
us. What does she get involved in?
My clinic is small, which I like kasi I can see patients faster.
On the average, how many patients do you see in a day?
Oh, close to 100.
What?
Yeah, so I have to start very early. Yeah.
Nagpapakonsult po ako for LASIK screening if I will be eligible for a LASIK procedure. Dr. Yong is very known as a specialist po for LASIK. So, he's very competent, napaka-informative. So, panatag na panatag po ako.
The doctor's handling me is Doc Yong Larrazabal, and I came here for an eye screening for Smile Pro. It's really good, it's really accommodating, and they're really hands-on with the procedure, and they tell me everything I wanted to know.
Right here behind your chair is like, is that the crest of the...
Yeah, the Larrazabals
okay.
from Basque.
From Basque. But your family is originally from Ormoc.
Yes. My great-grandfather was a stowaway from Spain. And then, like the rest of the Spanish, like Aboitises and Irastorsas, they landed in Leyte. And then they met their future wives there.
It was really an agriculture-based at
Yes.
first, the start of the family's wealth, I would
Yes.
say.
Pineapples, sugar, mostly sugar.
And then later on, is the branch of your family that turned to medicine.
No, actually, there's 7 siblings, my dad.
Okay.
All wanted to be farmers like my grandfather, no? Kasi rice at the time, I mean sugar at the time, the sugar boom yun, it's 50s, 60s, 70s. And then, since my dad, according to my lolo, was the smartest, he said, he wants a doctor in the family. He sent my dad to UST to study, med school. And then, from there, he met my mom, who was the president of the Supreme Student Government in UST. And then, after he graduated, he wanted to get married. Now, my grandfather didn't allow. So, nag-elope sila. They went to the States. He's still trained in gastro. And then, they didn't speak for 5 years. And then, they became okay na my grandfather. My grandfather said, just come to Cebu because...
Pinatawad na siya.
Yeah. Cebu is the hangout of the mga sugar planters from Leyte because it's close and then the weather's better daw. So he placed up the funds for Cebu Doctors. So he became the president at 29 years old.
Your father.
My father.
But it was your grandfather
Sugar.
who bankrolled the hospital.
Yes. I think 12 years they're planning, but no one would put up the capital for the hospital. So it was until my grandfather placed in the capital.
How did your father learn? Kasi if you learn from your father, saan siya natuto?
They call him man with the golden touch. Kasi whatever he touch, he's very lucky with these things.
You think luck lang yun?
Yeah, and also he's very thrifty. So he doesn't like borrowing money, like saving. When we were growing up, I didn't even know now we had money.
Really?
Yeah.
How? How come? Wala kang allowance?
We'd always go together, and then para save gasoline.
Para tipid.
Yeah, and then he would only turn on the aircon if it's really hot. My allowance, one of the smallest sa batch namin. I would actually return the bottles of my classmates to the canteen and get the deposit. And I keep it to myself kasi my rich classmates, you return the bottle, you keep the deposit.
All the fans of Dawn are were crestfallen when you took her away from us.
Si Donna kasi worked at 8 years old, she started singing. So she was burned out. 8, 9, then she had so many movies, di ba?
Yeah.
So she wanted to raise a family right away. During the start of my practice, I only had 1 or 2 patients a day. And then she was at the height, no? So obviously she's earning a lot
Mas
more.
Mas malaki kesa sa'yo.
Yeah, of course. And if we were
But
based
you're from the Larrazabal family.
We're not like that. We have to work. We're not given. Like
walang mga parang sustento ng pamilya.
we have to work on our own.
You're not the boy with the silver spoon in the mouth.
No, that's what people think.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Actually, that was the perception that, wow, you swept Donna off her feet. You're from this wealthy family. Yung pala, mas malaki pang kita sa'yo noon.
Yes, yeah. The first 5 years. Yeah.
So, how was that? She sacrificed also.
Yeah.
Did you bar her from doing movies, or that was her choice?
That was her choice because after the first year lang, she got pregnant na eh. In between, I joined her concerts in Japan, in Australia.
Yeah.
Ako yung alalay niya. Yeah. So good thing naman about her, she will never make you feel insecure. Yeah, that's a good
And
trait.
did you though? Did you?
Yeah, of course, to start.
So what was the turning point? When did your practice start to prosper?
And then, did you feel any pain? Wala, di ba? Wala. No pain, no. Wala. When the machine was docking. It's very gentle yung machine.
So what was the turning point? When did your practice start to prosper?
There were a lot of new technologies kasi na I was one of the first who started in Cebu. No? Like when cataract used to be, when you do cataract surgery, the patient goes to sleep, di ba? General anesthesia. And then they transition into injecting around the eye anesthesia. Then when I started here, I was one of the first, started eye drops lang anesthesia. And then the patient just stands up, can see right away. And then we brought in the first of its kind LASIK machine here in Cebu after 3 or 4 years. So that was a breakthrough as far as people who wanting to get rid of their eyeglasses already.
Right.
So I attracted a lot of Visayas, Mindanao patients right away.
Tell me about this one naman. This is the car enthusiast in you, of course.
Yeah, of course, one of my favorite brands, Ferrari. So I made sure I got this antique na steering wheel. Then this is an F1 steering wheel of Ferrari also.
Oh,
And then an exhaust of a 458 Italia exhaust. That just place lights inside. That's the artistic side of me. My grandfather bought those for me. So I kept it talaga. Yeah, I love cars.
Yeah. Ano ba dito yung meron ka?
These are my 3 favorite cars that I currently have.
All these you have.
Yeah, same colors.
Same colors?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Because you've really been so successful. You know also how to enjoy life. Like you said, it has to be a balance. When did your love for cars begin? Was your father ever
No.
No.
I used to love cars since I was grade 1. So I would draw all my dream cars. I like drawing.
Yeah, all right.
So all the dream cars that I drew before, I slowly got them one by one until I got all my dream cars ready.
Wow.
So I'm done already with the car
Ilan
aspect.
yan? So you're done with that.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
It's really running now that really
Yes.
thrills you, no?
Yeah, running, expanding the business, helping more people. Just the last week we opened our first diagnostic center, which is outpatient, and it's the cheapest in Cebu. I made sure that it's the cheapest.
So you also have the Midas touch of your father, no?
Swerte, yeah. Well, swerte. And then, of course, I plan to build a charity hospital eventually na free lahat. So that will be my 10th. Then I plan to stop na with 10. Then maybe the next generation can expand na the number of hospitals.
That will be your 10th hospital.
The charity hospital. During my installation, 2017, I outlined all my plans. Top 20 plans. Then a lot of doctors were skeptical. How can this guy make all of this? New building here, property here for hospital, Bohol. And fortunately, mga 15 of those 20, I already
You've done na.
I'm just a man who wants to get things done right away. I don't dilly-dally. I want it done, and people around me know that. So when I want things done, it has to be done. I'll do everything for it to be done. This is the medals per continent. No? So after each continent, like in Africa, which was held in Cape Town, they give you the medal, then we flew to Antarctica, then Australia, and then Asia, Dubai. Europe was in Spain, and South America was in Brazil, and then last was in Miami, North America. So that's what I wore during the marathon challenge.
I thought you had a clothing store. Eto?
Yeah.
And then,
And then that's the shoes that has spikes, no? Kasi it's ice.
ito ba yung sinasabi mong, you felt really cold?
Yeah, really cold. Kasi I underestimated. I only bought 1 pair of gloves. You need at least 2 or 3. So these are the actual shirts that I wore per continent. Oh. South Africa, Europe. So long sleeves kasi malamig sa Europe. Sa Brazil naman, t-shirt lang.
Worthy of a museum.
In all my 71 marathons, I've never quit a single marathon.
Why aim so high?
Life should be goal-oriented. If you don't have goals, you will not work hard or put much effort into reaching your goals. You just be laid back and you would eventually slow down, deteriorate. Luck and a lot of planning. Especially when I courted si Donna.
Sige.
There were a lot of suitors. There was an action star, there was a politician, and top politician.
Madami kang karibal.
Yeah, and then there's mga businessmen. One thing, very, very funny story. She played Liesel in Sound of Music. No? So during the second date, so I watched. She invited me to watch her. No? So I stopped by Shangri-La. Then there's flower shop. I bought this flower. No? One lang. It's 700. I went to the dressing room. So her dressing room was filled with flowers from one businesswoman. And then I was flower.
Okay.
But she appreciated the flower.
I didn't ask about the pandemic, but so now's the chance. What lessons did you learn from that?
I try my best now to travel with my family. Like we did 3 trips already since December this year. And I always make sure I spend quality time with them. Because life can be taken from you anytime. Life is too short. Make peace with your enemies. Better to go without enemies. And of course, you have to be closer to your religion, God.
Dr. Yong Larrazabal runs the long race. Hindi siya nagmamadali at ang bawat hakbang ay planado. He is executing a well-thought-out plan as he takes the reins of the family business. Can one truly have it all? Apparently, yes. To never run out of steam, pace yourself. To never lose sight of your goal, focus on your vision. Mga aralin na nakuha natin sa kwento ni Dr. Yong Larrazabal III. Hanggang sa susunod nating pagkikita, ako po si Ces Orenia Drilon, dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Watch the full-length producer's cut on Bilyonaryo Digital on YouTube and on Bilyonaryo's Facebook page.